welcome back to another episode of Coffee with Scott. Today, we are here to talk about becoming a financial advisor, and specifically the path to success. Scott, I know you've been a financial advisor for a few years now. Probably have some insights for our viewers.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
Tell us a little bit about maybe first, what is it exactly that a financial advisor does?
So it's really transitioned over the last several years from building kind of an asset allocation and a pie chart to really today, clients are expecting more of a holistic financial planning type process where you're not only thinking about their investments with your company, but outside, sometimes insurance needs, estate planning. It's really much more holistic today than it was when I started my career.
Okay. Well, when we think about being a successful financial advisor, especially as the marketplace and expectations have shifted, what is it? What additional education, or maybe just in general, um, where should a financial or prospective financial advisor start with kind of learning the ropes, and then what additional education might they need?
Yeah, I mean, there's some basic educational competencies, exams, licenses that you have to possess in order to be in this industry. Bar on that's fairly low. I mean, you study, you get the books, you pass the test, you've got your license. But it's much more than that. I mean, really, this industry, it's about lifelong learning. I mean, you never stop learning. I'm still learning things today. And you just have to always keep abreast of what's happening in the market. And your clients are going to have questions about that, and so you have to have good answers to it. And in terms of education, it's not necessarily always formal, but I do a lot of reading, you know, investment publications, newsletters, and so forth. Of course, you know, I believe the more education, the better. So seeking professional designations such as certified financial planner or even CFA charter holder, things like those can certainly help a budding financial advisor, along the way.
Can you tell us a little bit about maybe the difference between a CFP and a CFA?
Yeah, yeah. The CFP designation is really that holistic financial planning route that I mentioned earlier. CFA is a chartered financial analyst, and that's what I pursued just because I'm more, I think, on the analytical side, or I was at the time, and thinking about portfolio management, which is really what that's about. It's like people that want to analyze individual stocks or bonds or run money as a portfolio manager type role.
Okay. Well, beyond the designations, if we kind of take a few steps back and we think about new entrants into this space, what are some things that you've seen successful budding financial advisors do that ultimately 10, 15 years down the road leads to a successful practice?
Sure. Yeah. Well, it starts with work ethic and integrity. In our firm, we put that first, and you do the right thing for your customers, and eventually the money will follow. The founder of our firm, he always had a saying that money follows energy, and if you're really energetic and you really are enthusiastic about what you do and you're happy doing it, and it's really what you're meant to be, then you're going to ultimately succeed.
Well, so I guess along the lines of ultimately succeeding, beyond the energy, what can a financial advisor or budding financial advisor do by way of seeking out maybe mentorship and
Sure.
networking to help them grow?
Yeah, networking is the key, obviously. Unless you happen to have a large natural audience, you come from a family that has connections and money and all that stuff, but assuming that you don't, which is how most of us got into the business, you really, there's a saying that luck never finds you sitting in your apartment. You have to get out and meet people, join networking organizations, attend, in our business, there's always a luncheon somewhere where some investment company is going to come in and talk about XYZ or the economy or, market updates, things like that. Take advantage of that, get to know other people, find good mentors, people that you want to emulate, and build your practice, off of that.
Okay. Well, I think it might be beneficial for the viewers to hear, let's say that I was a new prospective client of yours. How might you approach the initial stages of the relationship to make sure that we get kind of set off on the right path and that ultimately I'm able to reach my end goals?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, a client relationship has to come down to a lot of trust. People want to do business with people that they feel like they can trust and they have a good rapport with. And when they survey, clients and what's important to them in a financial advisor, those things come well above, like industry knowledge and things like that are even more important. They feel like a big part of your role as a financial advisor, sure, the investments are important, right? Low cost, good performing, all that stuff really does matter. But a lot of times you're really acting like a financial coach, if you will. Market goes down, you get a panic phone call. What should I do? It's keeping them invested through the hard times, assuming, according to their asset allocation, their risk tolerance, and, if they're assuming that they're properly allocated, and not allowing them to make devastating financial decisions. There were people that sold out, when the COVID drop happened back in 2001, they went into cash and then it bounced right back, right? And not to say you can't ever promise that's always going to be the case, but historically speaking, back in 2008, financial market crisis, Dow went down, or S&P went down to 666 was the low point on March 9th. And, if you can't ever recover from a loss like that. And when people are left to their own devices and, the do-it-yourself, kind of model, it can happen. And so a big part of our role is to keep people, like their life coach, like almost their psychiatrist for investments, if you will.
Yeah. I think it sounds a lot like, and not to completely diminish the role, but we all have access to a plethora of information, and as someone who has like worked out their entire life, although you may not be able to tell now, I know what to do, and I can go online and maybe find nutritional information, workout plans. But back to the do-it-yourselfers, I'm clearly not getting ready for Mr. Olympia, and so. While you might have the tools at your fingertips, having that financial coach, kind of like a personal trainer, right, to help guide you, keep you on track, it sounds like that's a lot of what the role has kind of become.
Exactly. Yeah. This isn't rocket science. We're not splitting the atom here. We are helping people try to achieve better outcomes, whether it's for retirement or whatever their goals and objectives are. And just the ability to interface with the human, again, that they know and they can trust, and is always going to do what's in their best interest. That's what's really most important.
Well, when we think about interfacing with the human, obviously the trust is extremely important. But on the back end, what are some of the things that you might do and use to help augment the human experience, right?
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of talk today about artificial intelligence, and will ChatGPT be able to replicate what we do? And to some extent, yes, it will. The whole part of the investment component of the business has been greatly commoditized. When I first started in the business, you could make an 8% commission from selling a mutual fund. Today, there aren't commissions on mutual funds. I mean, there are, but nobody does that, right? We're all fiduciaries. Everything's assets under management for the most part. But there are tools that are becoming available through AI that can really help an advisor scale their practice and help them be able to service more clients and deliver highly custom, personalized content to their customers. And so, we view it as really an opportunity to help our advisors scale and grow their business over time, and not as a threat.
Okay. Well, I think that gives us a nice lay of the land, or at least an intro into maybe some of the things that prospective financial advisors might want to learn and do. And so we appreciate you joining us for this episode of Coffee with Scott. Please like, share, subscribe to our channel, and we will see you again next time.
Thanks, Jeff.